Africans in the diaspora, how are we maintaining our mental health? How are we strengthening our mental status? How are we doing? Where are we getting our strength from? A lot of people get it from either talking about their issues or going to therapy and sharing their experiences with the therapist, or going to church, or just some people just have internal strength and they're able to cope with life. Some people's mental strength is weaker than others, and it's because of very many factors. So for me, I find my mental strength from my experiences that I've gone through, I guess, being raised in a tough environment as far as discipline with parents, and coming from a background of community and just togetherness. We didn't have this isolation that we have here in the US. So I'm reading this book. This is what I'm currently reading. It's called 13 Things Mentally Strong People Don't Do, and it's by Amy Morin. It's about the power of having strong mental capability. Take back your power, embrace change, face your fears, and train your brain for happiness and success. A lot of times, the reason why I'm doing this video is because us here in the diaspora, we have this thing of trying to please people. We are people pleasers, especially pleasing people at home. We don't have the power to say no because of many reasons, because of where we came from, because of feeling obligated to be taking care of people back home. So for us, saying no is kind of difficult, and I know it's a lot of us that share that. And so this book, I'm reading it now. I thought I would share it with you because a lot of times we neglect ourselves as the self. We don't do things for ourselves. How many of us, by the way, like for example, you feel guilty for buying yourself something. You buy things for the house, you buy things for your kids, you do all these things for your kids, but then you as a parent, or you as you don't do things for yourself. Or when you do things for yourself, you find yourself feeling so guilty. Like you'd rather pay a bill than buy yourself. Even sometimes your shoes are like ripped. I used to see that with my mom. My mom, she would be the last person to do anything for her. Her shoes were just looking all kinds of ways, and I used to pray that when I start working, I would be able to dress my mom the way I wanted to see her, because she was doing so much for us. So parents, we are very selfless. We put other people before us. Parents in the US, especially parents in the diaspora, African parents, we give and we give and we give. And sometimes you don't even have to be a parent. It's just the fact that you're here. You look at your paycheck, you look at your expenses, but then somebody sends you a message and they want something, or they say they need something, and you feel bad about it, and you weigh the options, and you're like, your bills are not paid yet, and you know for sure that's the only money you had. Maybe you're on a tight budget, but you'll take that money and give it to somebody else. Why do we do this? Why are we not able to say no? Because we are suffering, we struggle with that. And I'm not saying we are not going to help. That is not the message. The message is, why do we not put ourselves first? Why do we feel why is it difficult for us? Why is it difficult for us to say no? To say no. And not even just for family members. It's for things even here. Like, where is that strength to say, I don't want to go to this party because I just don't feel like? Maybe you want to be home. Maybe you have something that you needed to do. Maybe you have a school assignment. Maybe you have you want to decompress, but you don't want to mingle with people at that time. Maybe next time, but today you don't feel like. But you get dragged into these things that you don't want to do only because you want to please people. You don't want to say no. Why do we do that? I don't know. Why do we do it? I don't know why we do it. And this book says, to all who strive to become better today than they were yesterday. And I feel like That's me. I'm really trying. I'm really trying to be better. I'm trying to analyze my life and like, what is it that I need to change in my life to be able to see happiness, success, fulfillment, all those things. And I'm reading different books. A lot of you on YouTube have recommended some books, self-help books, things that help you. Because sometimes you think you know things and then life kicks you in the butt and you're like, what? I thought I knew that and I didn't know that. So there's a chapter 5. As a matter of fact, the outline tells you the chapters. People who are mentally strong, they don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves. They don't give away their power. They don't shy away from change. They don't focus on things they can't control. They don't worry about pleasing everyone. And that's what I'm talking about today. They don't fear taking calculated risks. They don't dwell on the past. They move on quickly. They don't make the same mistakes over and over, because what is that called? When you do something over and over and expect a different result, we all know what's that called. They don't resent other people's success. They don't give up after the first failure. They don't fear time alone. They don't feel the world owes them anything. They don't expect immediate results. So those are the 13 things. Today we are talking about why is it that for us diasporians or Africans in the diaspora, why do we feel it so difficult for us to say no? How come we can't just say no to things that we don't want to do? Where do we find our mental strength? For the people in the diaspora, what do you do to maintain your mental state of mind? You want to be stable mentally, because how are you going to help other people if you yourself are falling apart? Even at work, I work in healthcare, and I used to be like that myself, and people running around all day. You have a 12-hour shift and you don't take a break for yourself. Reason being, I was busy all day. I don't have time. Make the time for your break. When you're planning in the morning, when you're planning your morning, how your day is going to go, your afternoon, your night, whatever shift you work, whatever time of day you work, when you're planning at the beginning of the shift, put your breaks in that plan. Manage your time. Take your break. These things life, it doesn't stop. People will keep ringing their call bells. People will need something. The patients will need something. Take your break, hand over to somebody else. Let somebody else watch your patients while you're going on break. Take a break and decompress. Recharge, because you're not going to be any help to other people if you yourself, like I said, are falling apart. People walking around talking about, I haven't even gone to the bathroom all day. Why not? Go to the bathroom. And I know right now I can say it's easier said than done, because I was that person that will not stop. I will not stop. I will go I used to work 7 to 3. We didn't have 12-hour shifts. And I would run from morning to afternoon to 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I'm catching up with my documentation, even down at 5. Haven't taken a break. Haven't even taken one sip of water. And I know it happens a lot, but let's normalize taking breaks. Don't be stoic. I don't know who we are trying to please by not taking our breaks. And I know we are trying to catch up. The workload is a lot. But put your break in that time management. Manage your time and take your break. Why is it that we are afraid to say no? Why do we put others in front of our needs, others' needs in front of our needs all the time? Like you would rather suffer and have somebody else like happy. You compromise your peace, your happiness for somebody else. We don't put ourselves first, and I don't think that's good for us. And it took me a long time. And as you can see now, I'm doing personal videos because it took me a long time to even get the courage to say that it's okay for me to talk about my struggles, because I know I'm not the only one. And sometimes that comfort level, you don't get it immediately. It takes time to build that comfort level of, okay, I don't care what people say anymore. If I have something to say, I will say it, because people will have an opinion regardless. So on this chapter 5, they say, don't worry about pleasing everyone. Care about what other people think, and you will always be their prisoner. And that's a quote from Lao Tzu, TZU. So, and what I picked from that chapter is that when faced with decisions in your life, it's important to know exactly what your values are so you can make the best choices. But if you aren't really clear on your values, how do you know where to put your energy? And how do you make the decisions, the best ones? So pick 5 values in your life and rank them in order of the most important to the least important. Now stop and think about whether you're actually living according to those values. How much of your time, money, energy, and skill is devoted to each one of those? Are you putting too much effort into something that's not even on your list? That's how we get burnt out. That's how we get frustrated. That's how we get mentally exhausted. And it got to me at one point. I was like, I'm doing everything for people, and I'm not being selfish. I think at some point it's okay to be selfish once in a while. Because for years and years, it's everybody else and Lucy last. And I'm trying to change that, and I hope that there are people out there who are in my position. Do you guys feel like that? Like you always put everything and everyone else first before you put yourself, before you take care of yourself. And I got an email from, I put my email on my YouTube. It's lucymwangiusa@gmail.com for people who want to connect with me. People are leaving me their phone numbers, and I'm going to start like a email list of people that I've connected with on YouTube. So if you want to send me an email, you can do that. Wangui Karaoke sent me an email, and I think I resonated with it because it says she's been here 28 years and she's gone through the similar struggles. So she says she always remembers what the flight attendant says when they're doing their emergency preparedness speech, whatever they do, their demonstration. And what do they usually tell us? They say, put the mask on yourself before putting it on anybody else, including your child. Put the mask on yourself first before putting it on somebody else, including your child. So put yourself first, and everything else will fall into place. Because how can you pour from an empty cup? How can you pour from an empty cup? Kenyans and Africans in the diaspora, let's continue the conversations in the comment section. Thank you guys for watching.